We're here answering fantasy basketball questions. And I'm sure there'll be something else sprinkled in as well at some point. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and name Cuff. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Also, check out LockedOnDaily.com and you will find the best newsletter for your favorite team. Just go sign up right now. Just head across Locked On Daily and sign up, get it into your inbox. Easy done. If you are watching live, good to see you guys. Drop your comments in the chat. Give thumbs and shares and all that sort of stuff as well, and we will get into it. And hopefully there's no tech issues like there was last week in getting these questions up on the screen. We'll see how we go. But Ash Material starts us off with an absolute banger. Josh, can you... It disappeared. Where'd it go? It was there. I had it. It worked. Why did it go? Oh, don't you... Technology, man, the worst. Why would that just happen? Anyway, Ash Material says, can you accept that you were wrong on BDNR? No, Ash. I can't. Because I'm not. I haven't been. What are you watching? I don't understand. I guess you're taking the piss? How? What? There we go. The question's back. No. It's been 3 games. He had one good one. He had one terrible one. And one mid one. Do you need something for a little private session of me saying, I was so wrong, I'm so sorry? I wasn't wrong. If I am wrong, I will admit it. But I'm not. Settle down. Tamar Carr says, what's the best website to play fantasy in my opinion? It's Fantrax. It's without doubt Fantrax. It's not even close. There's no competition at all whatsoever. Honestly, there's none. It's Fantrax. It's not remotely close. Simple. Is it worth buying low on Butler? I got offered him for RJ Barrett. I was completely out on the Jimmy Butler business this season for numerous reasons. Health. I think that his play had declined significantly last season. And B, I knew there was contract stuff bubbling underneath that would cause some sort of issue. Not like this, not to this level, but I knew there was something happening, right? It depends on your league format. I don't know that, because I don't think that all of a sudden Jimmy's going to be healthy in Phoenix. I don't know that 100% he's getting traded. He literally might not get traded. And if he does, where do the numbers sit? There is a legitimate chance. I know that RJ can have issues with percentages. There's a chance that Barrett is better than Butler. There's actually, and in points leagues, I think that's a pretty high likelihood. So would I buy low on him? I'd consider it, but not for someone like Barrett. I wouldn't do that, no. Do I think Nurkic gets traded? Luis, I don't know. And I say this like kindly, I don't care. Like if he gets traded, he gets traded. We adjust at the time. I don't think that he will be, but I also don't know. It's very hard to sort of judge those sort of things. Rich says, is Ingram's return imminent? Unless I've missed something, I don't think so. I haven't seen anything to suggest that. Maybe it is, but there's been no updates whatsoever. Like, none. What is Aldama rest of season finish in? I don't know, Ash, you again. I don't know where he finishes. I talked about him at length yesterday on the show. I don't know. I've found it hard to sort of judge where his value sits. It is hard as a backup that relied upon extreme levels of shooting to be a standard 12-team league player. That's hard to do. And he did it, and now he's not doing it. I think that overall, if you did drop Aldama, especially in a points league where his value is not as high, you'll be okay. I don't think he's got any shot of finishing top 100 in ESPN points leagues. I don't think that's going to happen at all. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? What, if anything, can I expect from Cam Thomas from here on out? I expect sporadic play. I expect that when he comes back, he won't play every game. I expect that he'll have some games where he has a lot of usage and terrible percentages. In essence, I think he'll be unreliable with some spectacular moments and some terrible moments. Galahad says, with the big Ragu out, do I see Rob Dylan getting starters minutes at any point? Absolutely no way. Not in a million years. He is a small rookie point guard who is not up to it. He will not do that. Unless something very weird happens, that is not happening. Dillingham is not getting starters minutes this season anything can happen at any point, right? But the way that I see things now, if I'm looking at the next week, the next 2 weeks, the next 3 weeks, that's just not happening. They're not making a switch to make Rob Dillingham the starter. That is not going to happen unless there are significant problems in terms of injury or Dillingham improves at least 400%. So, no, I don't think that happens. Okay. Can you feel fine about dropping Brandon Miller? That's a good question, and I'll use your words there exactly. Can you feel fine about it? No, you can't. Because we don't know. And that idea of dropping someone who's probably, let's say, top 70 sort of a player, and someone might add him and he might just be back in 3 weeks, you can't feel good about that. But every piece of information, all of the probabilities suggest that he won't be back. And if you want to talk logically to yourself, then I think it'll be the right call. But if you're going, it's nothing confirmed. There has to be an element of doubt in that. So that's how I would view it. But I don't have him in any leagues, but if I did, I would be okay dropping him personally. Galahad says, what's my favorite slang words or expressions? I've got no idea. I just say things that I say. I couldn't tell you what's my favorite or anything like that. Do I think Kel'El Ware will get a starting role? Immortal. He has. He literally started the last game. Will he hold it? I don't know. I would say they'd like to give it a little bit of a chance, but yeah, he's got the role at the moment. I saw a question that I did want to answer, which moves a little bit away from fantasy. Here we go. Casey says, I'm not winning this season. Well, that's a shame. Bad luck for you, Case. How tall am I? I'm 6'4". I'm actually like 6'3.8" or something. Right? I'm 6'4". Can you hop on the waiver wire to pick up? Can I rebound? Rebound is like the only thing I can do. I can contest shots, all right. I can rebound, all right. But yeah, that's it. But I'm only 6'4". So like in NBA terms, I'm short. So there you go. Okay. How many games would I expect Emmanuel Quickly to play rest of the season? I'm not really sure. There's about like 40 games left. I'll give him 25 is my guess, but I'm no idea. Which teams do you think will start sitting guys with made-up injuries before the end of fantasy playoffs on March the 23rd? Well, Utah and Portland, obviously. March 23rd is the date that I set for players because usually you can avoid most of the shenanigans. I think Brooklyn will be in that mix, and then I think after March 23rd, you'll get Washington in there, Charlotte in there as well. They'd be the ones that I'd really worry about. But it's Utah and Portland who are happening right now, and Brooklyn would be the other one I think that's probably going to start to have those issues as we move closer to the end of the season. Any hope for Matkovic fantasy relevance this season? Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen. He hasn't played well at all either, so that's not going to happen. Who's my favorite stash? I'm not stashing anybody. Grow up. We're like 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. There's honestly nothing that's really that I can see with trade deadline where I go, well, that's a situation that's going to happen. No, there's not. And the spots like, okay, if I want me to say somebody, it's guys like Collier, if someone drops him. It's guys like Bryce Sensabaugh in Utah. It's Delano Banton, perhaps in Portland. It's those sort of players. But in Brooklyn, it's going to be a mess of Day'Ron Sharpe, maybe. But I think a lot of the time you're doing this and you might wait 4 weeks on a guy who's not worth it at all. And that costs you. So I'm not a big stash guy unless we start to know there's something crystallizing. And I don't really see anything crystallizing like that. But Sensible, Collier are probably the two because I think they're producing enough value right now. Nick Sindone, do you sell high and Kel'El Ware? I think it's worth exploring, right? Because there is a chance that Ware doesn't start rest of season. He played 39 minutes last game with high usage and 1 million shots went in and it was great. If someone wants to give you equivalent value to that last game for Kel'El Ware in a trade, I would do that. But I don't think anybody will. But if they do, I would be interested in doing that. That's how I would view that. But again, I think that's a relatively impossible thing to ask for. We'll come back, get more of your questions in. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. And as a new customer, if you bet $5, you can get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. $300 to bet all through the NFL playoffs. The other day, I was talking about the conference championships. I forgot that Philadelphia was in there. So Philadelphia, Washington. Now I'm going to forget the other ones. No, Baltimore, Buffalo. Who do you want to win? You can bet on that at FanDuel. The individual money lines, the spreads, the game totals, the individual team totals, anytime touchdown scorers, passing yard props. It's all there on FanDuel. So go to FanDuel.com and join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That is FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. All right. Do I think Time Lord can reach 25 minutes at some point? No, I don't. I don't think that he will be able to do that. I don't think that... Yeah, I think there'll be occasional games that he does it. But as a general rule, no, I don't think that he will get there. Canada will have its revenge, Josh. Will they? They probably wouldn't even know how to do it. You guys wouldn't even know how to do it. You're too nice. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is Hartenstein coming back today? I don't know. Let me have a look. Let me just have a look. Where is the Oklahoma City Thunder injury report? Doesn't look like it. I don't see any update to suggest that he is. So there you go. Is Josh Giddey worth trading for? Do we think he'll have a better role after the deadline? Joel, I'm actually worried it's going to be worse, to be honest. Yeah, trades could mix things up, but if they actually are going to play Lonzo 25 minutes a night, earlier in the season, he was playing 17. And you're going to have Levine, Dosunmu, White, Giddey, and Ball. Giddey's going to play 26. Of course, somebody could get traded, but also, they very much could not get traded. So I actually don't think that Giddey is set or guaranteed for a better role. Any update on Zubats in his eye? Not that I have seen, BS. They just said he was having some trouble seeing. I wouldn't be shocked if he sat out today's game and just needs to rest it the rest of the week. But I don't believe we've seen any what's his name? Any update. Firenut says, "My personal friends with Michael Bolton." I am not personal friends with Michael Bolton. Come on, you Gunners. Josh, I believe you said your son plays baseball. Yes, he does. College level or high school? He's in high school. He's heading into his final year of high school now. I'm interested to hear more about my baseball fandom. I know you can't stand the Dodgers. That's true. I can't stand that. Even though I've got a friend that plays for the Dodgers, they're annoying because my son converted me to be a Padres fan, and then we had a chance to beat them last season, and then it didn't happen, did it? So we're going back over to the States. Going to head to 4 Padres games in July this year. And yeah, I've been getting into watching a lot more baseball, and I used to watch a lot of it back in the day, and then sort of faded away from it. But I'm getting back into it now. Yeah, my son plays. He's in high school, but he plays senior baseball here, and he plays in the big league, which is the under-19s league here as well. He only started it like literally less than 12 months ago of playing, but he's done all right. He's done all right. What makes someone a good fantasy player but a bad real-life play? Hustle plays. Now, hustle plays is the opposite. It makes them a good real-life player but a bad fantasy player, usually. What makes someone a good fantasy player but a bad real-life player? Someone who jacks up a lot of shots. Someone who is a center who only takes shots around the rim, can't guard on the perimeter, but will block 1 or 2 shots while having bad defense. Think Hassan Whiteside, one of the biggest fantasy beasts ever, but actually not a good real-life player. But he got a lot of blocks. He had a high field goal percentage. He'd grab a lot of rebounds, but he was always out of position defensively. And that was not good. The other one is Rajon Rondo, who early career Rondo, very good player. Late career Rondo, still a good fantasy player, terrible real life player. He hunted assists, he hunted steals that led to bad defense. He couldn't shoot, he passed up open shots. He was a negative on the court all the time, but he led to good fantasy stats when he played. So that's the idea. Okay, let's keep more of your questions and let's stream down to the bottom. I dropped Sochan for Scoop. I think that's totally fine. Whizcare. I think Sochan is going to be ramped up slowly here. I haven't seen what's going on in the game today. I know that he's back, and I believe he's putting up some good numbers. Let's just go and have a look at that box score, the Spurs and the Pacers. But I think Scoot is going to be good as well. Now, I would try to get Sochan onto my team. Yeah, he said like 7 points, 3 rebounds in 5 minutes. It's pretty good. That's not going to keep up that pace, right? He's shooting 75% from the field so far in that game. But making that move is totally okay. Okay, what else have we got? What's my prediction on Suggs coming back? Absolutely no idea. I don't know when he's coming back. I think when he comes back, he'll be a little bit lower on the minutes, and then they'll have a fully healthy team. So he might not hit that 31, 32 minutes again. He might stay at 29 for a while now that Franz and Paolo are both there. But there's no real indication of when he's going to be coming back. Is the Heat and Bucks game on today? I heard it might be postponed. Let's have a look. I believe there is still a risk of that, but I don't think anything's happened. No, I think we're good. We're good. I think it looks to be we're okay at the moment. What's my thoughts on Nick Kyrgios as an Australian? I don't follow tennis that much. I think that Kyrgios gets an outsized amount of hate from sort of buttoned up, stuffy, conservative types. I think he's funny. I know the kids here love him. I think that it's annoying that he's wasted a lot of his talent. The injuries haven't helped. If you're going to look on the positive to negative range, I have a generally positive opinion on Kyrgios. Chris, it's a hard question to sort of answer on top of my head. What are the main indicators you look for when evaluating young talent outside of category stats? I think a lot of it, it's more like avoiding red flags. This guy in college can't finish at the rim at all. That's a worry. You got a terrible assist to turnover ratio as a guard. That's not ideal. Looking always at shooting percentages and things like that. And steal rate in college doesn't mean you've got a good steal rate in the NBA, but it generally translates into being a good player because it's about IQ and positioning and working hard and all that sort of stuff a lot of the time in college. But it all is individual sort of stuff. It's about looking for outlier good and bad numbers and saying, oh, that's a troubling thing, and that's not many people have had success with that. Or, something that's outlier good. No one's been able to do this at this level. That's the sort of thing that I'm usually looking for there. Let's have a look. What other questions have we got here? Do you think it's worth holding on to Emmanuel quickly? I nabbed him off the wire, but he's only played so few games. Yeah, he is. Because, again, you know what we're at here on January the 24th here for me? And we sit there and we talk about games that have happened. He has barely played. But you know what doesn't matter from here on out? It doesn't matter. You grabbed him, so your season with Quickly starts right now. And if he comes back tomorrow, he's not, but maybe he comes back in 3 days, then the fact that he missed 90% of the games before means nothing to you. It doesn't matter. He could play 90% of the remaining games. So, yeah, grab him. He has got easily top 50 upside. Easily. And you don't find that on the way. But if we hear that, hey, he's out for 3 more weeks, then you can decide to do what to do then. But if I ever saw Emmanuel quickly, and he would never appear on my waiver wire, if I ever saw him on any of my waiver wires, it's an immediate ad for me. Immediate. Not without any question whatsoever. Do I need Michael Bolton's permission? I did ask for his permission when I got the video done. As a commissioner, how do you handle managers who usually forget to set their lineup but don't always forget? Seems like reminding them is unfair at this point. I am the commissioner of a lot of leagues, so I don't actually have the time to go in and check who is and isn't setting their lineups. I think that one's a little bit of an individual thing. It is frustrating if managers don't set their lineup, but overall, because of the volume of work that I do plus the amount of leagues that I commission, I don't go through and individually tell people to set their lineups. If you're commissioning one league, I think it's totally reasonable to do that. Hey, your lineup hasn't been set. I'm not one of those people who'd be like, hey, I'm just going to set this guy's lineup for him to make it fair for everybody else. I don't think that's worthwhile. Honestly, I think that's a little bit like you're putting your thumb on the scale a little bit. But I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on that as commissioners. All right. Wow, Sam calling my missus a Kiwi legend. I'm sure she'll love to hear that, mate. Yeah, she was on with Yuri and Kayla on their Bitches Be Ballin' podcast. They asked if she wanted to go on, and she did, and that's where we're at. Do I think Franz will be as good as pre-injury? No. For a very simple fact. Yeah, I think he's going to be good. And it definitely shown signs of improvement, but Paulo is back. And part of the reason, there are numerous things, but part of the reason why he was so good is he just got to have extra shots, ball handling opportunities, and assist opportunities, and he won't have those. So will he be as good? No. Will he be very good? Yes. And I think there's always nuance in all of that. Super Bowl predictions. I'm always wanting weird things to happen. So I want Washington, I want Buffalo. I want a rematch of, what was that, 93? I want 93 Super Bowl rematch. I want Washington, I want Buffalo. Because A, I want Buffalo to win their first Super Bowl ever. And B, I want Washington as for numerous reasons. My son's an LSU fan, so Jaden Daniels. And the fact that they've sort of come out of nowhere. I love that. Chiefs, Eagles, boring. I just saw it a year ago, 2 years ago, boring. Don't want it. Bills, Washington. Would I wait for a second opinion before dropping DiVincenzo? Well, Mike, that brings up a good point, right? Maybe. But that's going to depend. If you are in a position where you're sitting pretty, you don't actually need to wait, you don't need to use that roster spot for a week, then wait. If you are in desperation stakes and he is just burning a hole on your roster, getting zeros, then that's not going to work out for you. And sometimes you just have to make that plunge. A grade 3 tear of a toe ligament is multiple months. I can't see, unless there's someone who's done a horrible diagnosis job, I don't see how that's going to change. But it could, right? But the risk level you've got to take changes depending on where you're positioned in the standings. Get more questions in, and we'll get to them. Today's episode is brought to you by Talkspace. Therapy is a game changer. It can help you manage stress. It can help you improve sleep. It can help you communicate more effectively. But finding the right therapist and fitting that into your schedule, well, that can be a challenge. And that's where Talkspace comes in. Talkspace is the leading virtual therapy provider, makes getting the help that you need easy, accessible, and affordable. Signing up with Talkspace is simple. You match with a licensed therapist who fits your need, usually within 48 hours. It's convenient. Get your sessions done from home and even message your therapist between appointments. I almost read that as even massage your therapist between appointments. I'm like, okay, they're running on a different business model than I expected. But they're not. It's message. Plus, Talkspace is covered by many insurance plans. And for most insured members, there's a $0 copay. It's never been easier to prioritize mental health. And you guys watching this, listening to this, you get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/LockedOnNBA and use the promo code SPACE80 to match with a licensed therapist today. Go to Talkspace.com/LockedOnNBA. The promo code is SPACE80 to get $80 off your first month and show support for the show. That is Talkspace.com/LockedOnNBA. The promo code is SPACE80. Joseph Kim says, would I drop Tobias for Sochan in 9-cat no punts? Well, you're already losing in that league by not punting anything, so you might want to reassess that. Would I drop Tobias Harris? I said this yesterday. I think that Tobias Harris is washed at the moment, and I'm not sure that it's coming back. I do think that he will be better than he is. The worrying thing about him is just where is the usage? Why is he just not taking any shots anymore? That's more of my concern with Tobias Harris at the moment. But I also, in the league that I have Tobias Harris, I am not dropping him because the minutes are still there. They're showing no signs of going away from him minutes-wise. I would find another way to get Sochan onto my roster. But overall, if you made the call to drop Harris to get Sochan, I would be, okay, I get it. I would try and find another way to get Sochan on. If you made me and forced me, but that would be pretty mean. I don't know why you would force me into it. If you made me do it, I would probably take Sochan. But geez, it's close, man. It's close. Nihal says, do I think Chet will be playing before the fantasy basketball playoffs? Yes, I do. If Butler does end up at Phoenix, is it a good fit for him and the Suns fantasy-wise? Not really. He goes from being the guy that was theoretically the number one usage guy in Miami, but it wasn't because Hero sort of took that, to being the guy that's going to very clearly be number 3. And Booker is still going to have the ball in his hands a lot. Let's just say no. Is he going to be better than what he currently is now, where he doesn't try because he's the ultimate competitor, the best teammate, just the guy you want to drag your franchise to the finals, but now he doesn't try? Is it better than what he's doing now? Sure, yes. Look, he'll be better than that. Will he be better than peak Butler? No chance. It's not a good spot for him in that sense. Someone tweeted the Bucks game is going to be delayed. Don't know if it's legit. There's obviously concerns about it, right? But nothing official has come through, I believe. So maybe it could happen. There are concerns about them on their flight and the timings of it, but I don't know. We haven't heard anything specific on it. What do I think Mark Williams' minutes per game will be rest of season? Unless there's something that goes wrong, it's going to be 30 plus. Why do I call him Pig Williams? Because there's 2 Jalen Williams that play for the same team, and he went to Arkansas, and their mascot is a pig. And Jalen Williams went to Santa Clara, and their mascot is a Bronco. The Bronco, the pig. Because J. Will and J. Dub, you know what? It doesn't clarify a single thing between who they are. Bronco, pig. That's why. Why are the Wizards still running Kuzma out there when he's been so bad? Why not bench him? It's because he's making so much. Yeah, maybe. Is it because he's making so much? It's also that he's for some reason, considered a leader in that team. He's got a standing with those guys. He has been bad. Absolutely. It's a very weird situation. But I don't think they're just going to say, we're not playing you at all because you've been so bad. That seems pretty unrealistic. Rest of season rankings. Austin Reeves, Paul George, DeRozan. Ryan, I'll ask you this question, and I don't expect you to answer it back, but why do you care? What does it matter? They're not available off your waiver wire. Are you doing a 3-way trade here? I think that when you're talking about that, if you're sitting with a decision like that, and most people go, it's going to be pretty close, then it doesn't matter. Who's got the more injury risk there? At the moment, it's George. So I'll put him below that. But in terms of just overall production, I think they're relatively similar. And I think the differences between them, the energy that you expend trying to really dig in and figure that out, it's not going to be worth it in the end. I don't think. I'm going to try something like some adjustments to formats for Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl next season. It's not necessarily going to be more like fantasy football. It's going to be something that I think reflects a better way of being able to utilize our time. And all that I want to do with fantasy basketball is make it A, enjoyable, and B, more available and more accessible to more people. Yeah, someone said, I love the fact that I can hit the waiver wire and just stream guys in and get the volume in and pay attention to that. That's great for you, right? Fantastic. Love that for you. But it eliminates a huge player pool because people don't want to do that. Some of us do, but not everyone does. So I want to try and find a way to make it that it's like, hey, this is easy. This is more not casual. Casual is not the right word, but more like a thing that doesn't take 4 hours of your day every day. So I'm gonna look into that. Norman, no, he won't. Sports with a round ball are laughable. Without a round ball are laughable. I just don't care. Who cares? Amen for ball in a cat 12. I assume it's LaMelo. I would take LaMelo Ball for Amen Thompson. Yes, I would. Is Draymond droppable? I think, yeah. I think so, yeah. Just not a question, just a shout out for Obi the GOAT. Hope we get a cameo soon. He refuses. Like, in the past, he would sit on my lap when I would record. Now, as soon as I pull the microphone down, he's like, not this garbage, there's no way. And he runs off. So, it'd be very unlikely that would happen, I'd say. Do I think Tyree East will end up top 100 as a points league guy? Not really. He's not as good in points leagues as category leagues. That seems a little bit too high. What is it about that painting of a skull with bulging multicolored eyes that appeals to you to have behind you during podcasts? I like the artist. It's a Basquiat painting. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. And it doesn't, I like it. It's literally as simple as that. Agree, Vince. I don't see anyone who's like a trade deadline stash player. There's not enough concrete information out there to suggest that anybody is worth that at this stage. Okay. We've got about 3 more minutes to go here. Should we? All right, chat. Let's talk about this. Should I, at the end of this show, do like Immaculate Grid or Dribble Game or something? Play a game? Do you want to do that? Maybe? Am I surprised that GG returned as quickly as he did? No, because originally the return was supposed to be Christmas. So he's actually delayed from the original return, so I'm not that surprised. Does it mean Aldama is finished as a producer? I think it has an impact on Aldama, and I think that, yeah, like we talked about earlier, I don't think that he's a must-hold player necessarily. A lot of questions about Goga. I think Goga will be a hold top 120 in ESPN points. No, he's not as good in points league, so it's hard for me to suggest that he would be a must roster in a points league. Category league, it's going to be tough. I am worried, and Andy says, how productive do you think he'll be? It is very likely, I think, that he's going to come off the bench. I think that he'll come off the bench and Wendell will continue to start, and that will mean he's not rosterable. But we don't know it. And it is risky because he's putting up really good numbers. But that's, yeah. Do I think Okongwu will increase to 35 minutes at one point this season? No, not unless Capella is out. But I do believe Capella might be out today. Is that true? Let's have a look. Where is the Hawks? Yeah, Capella is out today. Knee soreness. So we'll see today. But long term, no, I don't think they'll do that. Would I waste a waiver wire spot on Embiid? I don't care about waiver priority at all. Getting Embiid for free, totally worth it. But I wouldn't. The problem you run into with the situation like that with Embiid is that if you get him, now that clogs up an IL slot and it clogs up a roster spot. Because you'll be like, ooh, I don't want to drop Embiid. Ooh, what if he comes back? Ooh, and then you can leave yourself into that problem where the guy is good and it's hard to sort of work around it. But I don't believe in waiver priority as a thing. I would add Embiid, but yeah, it introduces a bunch of risks. Let's have a look. Is Cam Johnson worth a hold? Or should I look at Emmanuel quickly? Both guys are just must-roster players. As simple as that. Have I decided on a watch? Not yet, Gabe. Well, what I'm waiting for is I'm trying to get Rolex to get me a watch, but we'll see whether that actually works or not. So I'm trying to get either Oyster Perpetual or a Date Just Rolex, but They better hurry up. My birthday's coming up. Otherwise, I'm going to go to Omega, I would say. But no, I haven't decided yet. Will D'Lo be a drop? Yes, he will be. Yeah, because they're not going to play him rest of season. He's going to play some games, but no. Where do I see Ingram ranking rest of season when he returns? Alex, it's a good question, but it's also an illustration of a terrible question because I have no idea what you're talking about. What league are you in? What sort of league points category leagues? I think that if they have a fully healthy team, and they don't because Herb is out, but say Zion's there, and CJ's there, and DeJounte's there, and Trey is there, then Ingram won't be a top 90 player. But if someone goes out, then he'll be 60th or 70th. You said Giddey's going to be around 100 rest of season. I didn't say that he's going to be. I said that I think that that's a chance that he'll be there. Like, again, be very cautious. I don't know the future. Should you try to get off him immediately? Maybe. If someone's the 100th best player, that's fine. Like, that works okay. If someone wants to give you a top 70 player for Giddey, I would do that without any question at all. Like, without any question at all. But it doesn't mean you have to get rid of somebody at all. No, unless it's Larry Markkinen. All right. Let's talk about Josh Hart and how he surprised you this year. Josh Hart surprised me this year. What is the reason for Jaden McDaniels' last few runs? Minutes have been up. High minutes, shots have gone in, and he's contributing defensive stats in a larger volume, which is great. It's happened, right? But I don't know that that's something we can rely upon. Where would Brogdon have a starting role if traded? Nowhere. Brogdon's done as a starter. He's not good enough to do that anymore. I can't see any team trading for Malcolm Brogdon and go, right, Malk, in you go, you're starting. I don't see why that would happen, how that would happen, or who would want to do that. So at the moment, off the top of my head, no. Is Klingon a hold if he is a starter? Then yeah. If he is a starter, yes. Yes. All right, shall we do... Let's do dribble game. I'll bring that up on the screen. Let's see how quickly we can do that, and then we'll get out of here. All right, let's go in here. Haven't set this up in advance, but we'll figure it out now. All right, do I think I know hoops? I guess so. Click here to access the web version. All right, let's try it. I don't need the instructions. Get from Tristan Thompson to CJ McCollum through mutual teammates. All right, Tristan Thompson's played for the Pacers. He's played for the Cavs. He went and played for the Lakers. So who's played with CJ that's on the Lakers? Huh. CJ... Dame? Has Dame played with Tristan? Is Tristan Thompson in Milwaukee at all? This is tough. Tristan Thompson in Cleveland. Who's a Cleveland New Orleans crossover? Matt Ryan. Did Matt Ryan play with Tristan Thompson in LA? Or did Thompson go to LA after Matt Ryan was there? Huh. BJ Boston, no. This is hard, man. Tristan Thompson, Donovan Mitchell, never played with CJ. LeBron never played with CJ, obviously. I could get like Thompson to LeBron to Ingram to CJ. That would work. I don't like that. That's extra steps. So let's just do it though, because otherwise it's just taking too long. All right. What was the number one? What was the Larry Nance? Jeez, I never would have got that. Tristan Thompson, Larry Nance, CJ McCollum. There you go. All right. I'll chuck one more question in. Matt Ryan is a quarterback. Thanks, Ash. Did I try Jollibee? I have not ever tried Jollibee, no. I don't think I've ever actually seen a Jollibee in the wild. Okay. We're going to head out of here. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. It's great to have you guys in the show and contributing and being around and liking and subscribing and all that sort of stuff. Hit the thumb on the way out of here. And as you know, like just let's keep things positive. Let's keep things good. Let's acknowledge things to improve on and let's do better at them. But let's also understand that we always will do a good thing. There's always something good, something positive that you do during the day. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.